Hey everyone, it's me Laura from the Papered Soul. Welcome back to my channel. I am coming to you from my craft room and my very messy desk, but it's messy because I've been kind of having some fun. And I was working on a mixed media collage tag, and I thought I would share it with you and see if we can make one together. This was a lot of fun, and I'm calling this my little Stan inspired video. Today is Wednesday, the 9th of September. And I have a little sentiment here: breathe, inhale, exhale, repeat. Number 1, 2, and 3. That's what we got to do. And there's the back of it. So this was just a lot of fun. I did some sewing and everything like that. And so I just thought I would share with you how I made this, and maybe there's some things that will inspire you. I know a lot of people talk about, we get in these little, we lose our mojo and everything, and we just are not inspired even though we want to do crafting. And so a lot of times just getting paints out, stamps and whatnot will help. And I did do sewing around the edge of this as well with a zigzag and everything like that. So I've got my paints that I've kind of already, they're actually starting to dry. I can add some more, add some water to it to work on this next tag. So let's work on that. I'm gonna put this to the side. So I have my little tag here. I also have some tags for my shop that size. This is a larger one, but you can certainly get some, you could use any kind of tag. You could use an alterations tag or things like that. But the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put a layer of gesso. Gesso is like white paint, but it's got some teeth to it. But it just puts it kind of puts a base coat on there for all the other layers of paint that you're gonna put on. So I just drip a little bit on there and paint it up. Hope everybody is doing okay. I just spontaneously thought of doing this today. I've been wanting to do something, and I was like, after I got some of my orders out, I went ahead and just thought, let me see if I can make a little video real quick, something fun, something inspiring. And that's what I thought I'd try to do. Before I found journal making, I was into the kind of the art journaling, mixed media art journaling, and so that's the kind of fun stuff I used to do, and I miss it really. But you can incorporate mixed media pieces into your journals, of course, and I'm not getting enough on there for some reason. And it doesn't have to be a lot. I just need kind of a good little base coat. And I'm going to put, some extra paper on the back of it because it sits here and gets paint on the back of it on my table. So I don't really worry about it too much. Just try to keep it a little bit clean. I'm going to put a little bit of heat on this. I've got my heating tool right here. Won't take but a second. So I won't bore you with too much of that. I don't edit my videos. I'd like to get to where I do that at some point, but I'm gonna let this dry a little bit while we talk about some other elements. So my sentiment, and I thought it was a really good sentiment, especially with our world today, is breathe, and then it's inhale, exhale, and repeat. And so I thought what I do with these is I color them up. What I may do, I think that really matters. Let's see. I colored it up with evergreen bough and then a little bit of crushed olive Distress inks. So let's go ahead and do that. And that will allow this to dry a little bit here. Let me see where I gotta come in here. Okay, so I just got all my little, and what I did is I typed this up on my Word document, and then I just printed it on coffee dye paper. And then I just cut them out. So you can do that with all kinds of words, any words you want, any sentiments you want. And I just kind of dab a little bit of this evergreen bough on it, just kind of all over. And then I'm going to come in with a crushed olive on top, just to have a little brightener to it. Switch that out. But you know, maybe just kind of like come up with some sort of sentiment and then come up with some sort of pretty image that you want to incorporate. And you know, that'll help you kind of come up with something to create. Kind of keep yourself inspired. And I dab this because I have an inkjet printer and I don't want my words to smear, so I kind of make sure I just dab at it. So that's what I do there. And now I got my words ready, so that'll be coming up in a little bit. The next thing I do, this is kind of already dry, it dries fast, and I didn't put that thick of a layer on it. I have some book page, and I don't know if you noticed in my tag, but there are some words, some paper that I tore here. Words there, and then some book page right here, so I don't know if you can tell. But it also adds texture to the page, so, and interest. So I'm gonna tear some for this one. And let's see, I'm gonna put one kind of over here, and then I like to put one maybe there. That's what I'll do. And let's do, kind of I like it at angles, so I'm just tearing it. All right, so I'll get my Mod Podge here. Still have some paint on that I didn't get off, but I better get that off. So I have my little jar. This way I don't have to leave you and go to the faucet and rinse my brush out. I have to do that. I don't want my brush to get ruined either. Okay, so I've dried that off, and now what we're gonna do is just put some Mod Podge, and I'm basically gonna just put some on the back of my little strip here. And I like to make sure my words are kind of, you don't have to worry about that, but I like my words to be straight on the page. Make sure I'm in frame. And then, so I'll put a coat on the back, and then I'll put a little bit on the front too. And sometimes that little seal that I'm putting there will, if you get too much paint on your words, you actually can kind of wipe it off a little bit, so it gives you a little bit of protection there. Because sometimes I've covered up too much of my words and didn't want it. So I kind of like putting that extra little bit of this on top, and that kind of seals it and protects it. Also make sure that it's down, but also gives it a little bit of protection there. Okay, so that's all I need there. And let me go ahead and rinse this out, because I don't think I just enough to not let that set in. So I was supposed to clean today. Haha. I did my orders and then I was like, I need to play. It's been about a week since my last video. I hope y'all have had a chance to watch all of my sunflower series where I created that journal. I completed that. I think my last video where I did the full flip through was last week. I can't believe how time's flying, so I wanted to kind of pop in and do something fun and creative in between. Gotta start working on my next journal. And so I am thinking about another series, but I don't know if it's gonna be so much. It may still be Make a Journal with Me, and you know, but it's a different topic. So I'm gonna add just a little bit of heat to this. And so now what we're going to do is we're going to be starting to add our color. And as you can see, I kind of did a teal color here and for my background. And then we start adding some, I picked out 3 stencils. And so I've got my stencils are painted up. So I've got my circles and the little diamond shapes and then that little shape. And so I've got those ready to go too. And I've got my stamps. We're doing stamping. I just dropped my Sharpie. So we're doing stamping also. And this is a Tim Holtz. I just did the flower stem part there. And then I'm using a flower from, I get them from Hobby Lobby. My hands are extremely messy, but they're supposed to be. I'm painting. And so then that's fun. I take that apart and then put it on there and decorate it up like that. So that's just some of the fun stuff we do. So let's go ahead and let's get some paint going again. Now, it's been a while since I've painted and I'm realizing my paints are getting old, but I just add a little water to them and try to, you know, get them to stretch out. So I really love, this is golden and it's called Yellow Ochre and it's by Golden, which is a really good, and I have let these go, it's just been too long since I've worked with my paints and everything, and so I've just let too much time go by. And I was able to get a little out a while ago. Let me see. I think the little hole is just really narrow. It's right there, but it doesn't want to come out. Oh boy. Now that is so funny because I just got this out and now I might not be able to use this. I might only be able to just wet it. That's how old that is, so I may just wet this and that might be enough to kind of loosen that color back up. We'll just see. And then I've got this color, so add a little water to that. That is, what color? Teal, golden, and it started to dry. And then I have acrylic, folk art, Jamaican Sea. I just have a mishmash, and then I have Festive Berries Distress Paint that I had to use because I found out my hot pink back here, my folk art hot pink is dried up. So I'm gonna have to go through my paints and do some cleaning and everything and really just get them out again and, you know, start to use them. Let's see if this will come out good. This is, ooh, I got too much. Okay, so let's see, a little bit of this, a little bit of this. So what I do is I use makeup sponges, and I do rinse them out after I'm done with them, but they still end up having paint on them. But you can just reuse them. I just try to keep it to purples and blues for that one. And, you know, maybe yellow there, white, no, that's yellow, white there, pink on this one. So, you know, just like I say, once they're dry, usually it's okay. So what we're gonna do is just I'm gonna dab this on, and I just start dabbing color on, and I like to go kind of, and I might add a little yellow just for some interest. You really cannot mess this up. Now I am going to try to go light on those words because I don't want to cover my words up, or not all of them anyway. So see, I'm just dabbing and dabbing, and you can see there it's still okay. Put a little water and just kind of wipe that off just a little bit, because of the seal that I put on there. I can do that a little bit with that Mod Podge if I don't want too much of it off. I don't mind a little more showing than I had on my last one, so that's what I'm going to try to do. And let's see, let's add some yellow. Just a little. So that's all I do, and I just kind of dab, and sometimes you can put little bits of yellows and, you know, here and there. And so that's basically what I do, okay, until I kind of get a look I like. Another thing you can do after well, I can actually put a little white over it just to soften the color if I want to. So we can try that, and it's really just playing with it, and then you can see what just a little bit of white does, how that kind of brightens that up, and yeah, just barely, just a little, and it just softens the look of it up. So if I wanted to do a little more blue, I could do that. Then sometimes you'll get a little extra piece of color in there, and it'll just put its own little neat bit of texture. Like if I had just a little pop of that little teal blue, you can kind of see that coming through, and that adds its own little texture too. So that's kind of pretty. Let's clean this up. I love these little craft mats. They allow you to wipe paint off and clean just about anything really off of it pretty quickly, and I really like that. So there we go. Let me just pop a little air on that. No two will be the same. Fun to get your hands into some paint and just do some fun stuff. So what we're doing is building layers onto this of texture, and so I think a lot of times what I'll come and do at this point is I'll use this for my gold. I hope I have enough gold here to, I might not. I cannot believe that won't even come out now because it stopped up. Let me see if I can loosen some of this up. This is like one of my favorite colors, and I have a lot of it left. Ooh, I think I got some. It is really stopped up though. There we go. Ooh, got a bunch there. I have really got to use this, but this is a wonderful color, and I'm gonna add a little bit of water just to break that down. Now, the thing about when you are doing your stenciling is you don't want it to be too wet, so I'm kind of getting some of that water out of that and coming over to the more of the paint, okay? because if it's too wet, it will kind of smudge. Now, what I like to do a lot of times with my stencils is kind of do it in threes. You know, I like to do those little odd numbers. So I just want a little here, and maybe a little down here, maybe a little over here. Just that kind of thing. Just kind of, just a little pop of this yellow, just here and now. So, and I'll kind of maybe do it at an angle. See how that would, see? And then let's do, could come in and do a little that's coming towards the middle maybe, or could do a little like this in this direction. And then let me wipe this up. It doesn't really matter because I'm just trying, what ends up happening is my paint starts working its way towards me and I want to stay in frame. So let's do a little more. Where do we want it? I could do a small bit down here. Just a little. That one is a little smudgy, but that's okay. And then maybe, I know I usually do, I am going to put a little bit more on here. And I usually do in threes, but I think I am going to put just a smidge more there. Just a touch. So there we have that little layer with that stencil. So I'm going to put that to the side. And then we're going to do, sometimes when you start building in your words and stuff, they're kind of already blended, as you can see. But like I will do some stenciling a little over top of these to try to build them in and make them a part of the background. I'm going to add just a little bit of heat here. Doesn't take long. Isn't that pretty? Alrighty. So my next thing I'm going to do, okay, I want that needle to get, okay, and the next thing I'm gonna do, I think I'm going to do my, my words and get them on here. And I just glued them on with my regular glue. And then I can start, as I start to put other textures and stencils on here, I can kind of overlay it a little bit onto these little word pieces, and it just makes it all come together as one piece. So I just center that one and bring it over like that. So as you can see on this, I've got, by putting it over there like that, I'm covering some of the little, I'll call it little gold star. They're kind of covered up a little bit. But when I add more, so some will be in the background, and then when I add other textures or other stencils, it'll be over top of that. So that's how we'll do that. So we have breathe, and we have, so then we want to know, well, how do we breathe? Well, we inhale. We inhale, we exhale, and we repeat. Sometimes we forget to breathe, don't we? Sometimes we forget to breathe. All right, so let's glue those on, and I just kind of eyeball it. Probably put that about right there. And I want enough space for my little number stamp, because I have like a little number stamp I'm using. And my glue from my last project is, I think towards the end, it started to get a little whistly, so I still have a good amount in there, but let's see. Make sure that's straight. With the Fabri-Tac, you have a little bit of time to actually move it around and shift it a little bit because it's kind of gummy. It's a drier glue, not as wet, and that's why I love it, because you have a little time. Okay. Okay. So then I do that. So there I have that. Whoops. Straighten that up. Okay, so there we are with that. And now what I'm gonna do, what's my next step I wanna do? I want to, see if I have enough of that. It's on there. I'm gonna do some stamping, and I'm going to put my numbers on there. That's all right to do that. So I have 3, where's my other number? Oh, don't say I lost it, there it is. Y'all, I lost this note. This is a little stamp set that I had, and it had these little typewriter numbers, and for the longest time I was missing 1 and 2, and they had fallen in my craft room somewhere, and I didn't see them for ages, and I finally found them, and I was so tickled. They had fallen kind of off my desk into a box, so I was glad to find them. All right, so here's my 1. I'll look on the back and make sure that's lined up. Let's see. Okay, so I've got my VersaFine. This is it's a pigment. It's where it's permanent, so you know you won't smear it, which is nice. So I'm just inking that up, and what I'm gonna do, the first thing we want to do when we breathe is we want to inhale deeply. So I'm gonna do my little 1. Oop, it's kind of off to the side, but that's okay. That gives it character. And over there, let's do 2. Let's see. Two's a little off also. Like I say, that just makes it look homemade. I'm not picky. That's the beauty of this kind of thing, is things do not have to be perfect. If you want it to be, then you can strive for that, but things don't have to be perfect. And there's enough out there that needs to be, or that we make ourselves try to be perfect. And that's the beauty of something like this. It's like you really can't mess this up. Okay, so I like that. Kind of clean my little stamp off. So put those over there. So I have that. The other stamping I wanted to do is with some script stamping, and so I'm just going to hold it and just kind of put this under it and just do some little here, little there, that kind of thing across it. And I may not do, let's see, I'm going to put some up here at the top, and I might just get a little bit of it on this breathe part to start to make it look like a part of the background. See? That makes it part of it. Kind of pushes it back to the background a little bit. And it's just real subtle. So let's see. So just a little there, and I'm gonna do what I may do is a little up here also. Okay, So that's a little bit of the words are on that little word there. And I'm just gonna do a little down here. Let's see. I'm gonna do, I hate to do too much. I'm gonna just do a little there. I'm gonna do a little down here. There we go. And a little here. So you see, you just have a little there, a little here, and a little there. Just an essence of just something interesting, you know, the script. So we've got that. You see how it's coming together. It's getting layers and stuff. Okay, and so then my next thing I might want to do, I've got, I know I'm going to wait on my butterfly because I'm going to let my butterfly be the last thing I put here. So let's add some more of the paint. Let's do our little hot pink. Actually, it's Festive Berries works in place of my hot pink, and I'm going to use this little design here, that little design, and put some on my board here, or my mat. But I seriously need to do some mixed media and use up my paints. The wonderful thing about paints is they really last a long time, you know, and so you should have like paint day, you know, a dedicated paint day. So let's use this one. This is my one that's, and I kind of dab it off. I dab it in there and then kind of dab because I don't want it too much. Now, where do I want my pink? I got to figure it out. So I might want a little bit, let's do a little right here. And I'm going to include that little edge of that breathe because, like I say, I just want to start knocking some of this into the background. I'm going to do, don't want any here. I might wait. I might just do some here. Let's figure this out. You know, you got to decide and just go for it. So that's 2. This one, that, and actually I'm ending up breaking my 3 rule, aren't I? It's kind of pretty. Trying not to put as much on this one as I did the other one, and just kind of, I will say this, I'm gonna finish adding this one right here. Yeah, and I might put some here in the middle. So I am breaking my 3 rule, but that's okay. And then I'll just put like a little bit, maybe here. Okay, there we go. I could put a little here. Look at me. See? It's like, how do you stop? I might put just a little there. There we go. Now we got 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, and 4. That worked, so that's okay. Alrighty, so you can see how I've started adding some of the stamping got on here, some of the ink got on there. I'm gonna put some more, I'm gonna do white dots now. And that just brightens it up a little bit. Now you can still see the words over here, and you can still see the words here. And the texture of the paper is coming all the way down here, so you can see that texture. And the texture over here. So let's get my one that does my white. Still have some white there, and I've got this little stencil that has different sizes, and I was using the small one. So, you know, this is a little bolder print there, and then you got this a little bit smaller with a different color, and then you come in with some white. And so I think what I'm going to do is put a little bit of white, move some of this back, kind of over on that breathe a little bit, getting that in my ink. Okay, that did work. So you do have time to wipe that off. And I don't really know why that didn't work. Let me put a little water on that. So it kind of bled through, so I'm gonna try it again. Add a little more of this. But that's the thing, you can wipe it off if you're fast enough and you don't like what it's done, and it just kind of bled up underneath the little holes. So let me try that again. Maybe I should use larger holes. Let's see, we'll try. Okay. Oh, that looks good. Okay, so you see how that just pops? So I'm gonna put some kind of over here. Little, and where else do I want that? I might do a little down here. Put it down here. That's good. And yeah, that's pretty. Not pretty. So in here and here, very subtle. So since there's a lot going on with this tag, because I've got this coming along and everything, that's why I kind of wanted to maybe not do as much. And another thing you can do with your white, if you wanted to kind of knock back some of the color, is you can come along and just kind of barely dab on that and knock it back a little bit. Soften it just a little bit. Might be a little strong on those pinks. And you can do that. What do you think so far? Isn't that fun? Okay, so let's do our flower. So what I do with my flower is not long enough, the stem, so I want my flower kind of here. So I'm just gonna I turn that stem because I want him curved. And I kind of want him, I might knock, since I didn't put that color there before, I'm going to knock a little more of that off with the white because it's pretty strong. So that it's back there, but it's not as dark. So I'm going to use my ink. And I don't mind if my leaf kind of covers up where I've got this little name, the word piece there. If this kind of crosses over that a little bit, I do not mind it, because again, that makes lets it be all a part of it. It knocks that back into the background so that the whole piece looks cohesive. So there's my little stem, and then what I like to do, let's see, I thought I had did have another one in here. Let's see, here it is. I got me a new Sharpie. So I'm just gonna kind of draw in with my Sharpie this little stem, and it will and bring it all the way down. That's all I did. And then the other thing I can do to kind of brighten these up a little bit. This looks like it needs some more glue right here. Put some more glue. Is I'm going to take my Sharpie and kind of draw some black lines around these little words so that they will pop a little bit more. Okay, so that's what I'm going to do. Excess glue there, so I'll let that one dry. So what I end up doing is I just kind of go up against it, and I do on the sides, and then it's kind of messy. In other words, I don't mind if I kind of go past it to give it kind of like a fun, haphazard little scratch out border. I'm making up words as I go. And sometimes when you're working with your Sharpie, the paint stuff will dull that. If I went up on it, it will dull the tip, but that's okay. You can just get a piece of paper and just scratch it out and it'll come back. So you see that kind of gives a little emphasis there. And it does not have to be perfect. That's what I like about it. Kind of scratchy. All right, so now I'm ready to do, I think I'm ready, I'm gonna do my butterfly. Let's stamp him. I've already got him waiting in the wings. No pun intended. One of my favorite butterflies. Okay, so my flower is probably gonna be around here, like that. And so I want my butterfly maybe here. So there you go. Got Mr. Butterfly on there. And I'm just going to take the little plastic piece of this off. And then I kind of pull them apart and I'm going to glue them. I'll put a little glue there, and I kind of shift them around a little bit. My hands are so messy. You get to where you just don't even mind because you just everything dries on your fingers and stuff and everything, so it doesn't really matter. And then I'm gonna put my flower about right there, kind of there. And in this one, I used some little Swarovski crystal flatbacks and everything. I think I'm gonna do a pearl. I had my pearls out here. Where are they? I think on this one, I'm just gonna do like a little pearl right there. So let's go ahead and get this glued down. And then I'm going to put a little dot in the middle, and I'm going to drop this flat back pearl into that, sticking to my fingers, and that. So there we are with that. Okay, so now I think what I'm going to do, because my fingers are really messy, I'm going to put some water and just kind of wipe them down a little bit. What I'm going to do next is I have one of these Pitt pen big brush, and what I like to do is kind of go around. Actually, what I'm going to do is I'm going to glue it on a backing piece of paper first, and I may, you know, once you start putting the other elements, you might think, I could use a little bit of white right here. And the white that I use is so subtle more white. That it won't cover it up, but it'll kind of blend these together. So I may put a little more, like a little bit, see? Just a little bit right there. That's good. That's good. Just to put a little brightness over here, because it was kind of all like solid there. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to back it with this paper, and I'm just going to glue it on. Just because a lot of times you've got ink from your table, or I mean paint from your table and everything, and so I'm just going to glue this up, and I will take it, you can either take it to the sewing machine and sew around it, which is always fun because that makes sure those layers stay together and won't be peeling back up. So I'm just going to put that straight on there. This was some extra scrap paper, so this is a good thing to do with some of your scrap paper. The other thing that you can come in and do is you can do that. I've got like a white jelly pen, and you can kind of come over with your numbers and make your numbers show up a little bit better. Your 1, your 2, your 3, and you can kind of do it on your skin, and it'll kind of clean that little tip off if it gets covered up. And then the 3, because they're kind of getting lost there, and that just brightens that up. So you can see that brightened that up a little bit there. Alrighty, and then I'm going to cut around that. Let me find my scissors. My desk has gotten really, really messy. I don't want to, it doesn't matter. Oh, something's going to fall. So I don't really have like the best desk, and I wouldn't mind, I'm operating off of a sewing table actually. So this is the extension of my sewing table, and my sewing machine's right over there. And so truly things fall off the sides. I've got 3 sides they fall off of, and I'm really tired of that. So I'm gonna try to redo my craft room, but I'm usually so busy doing some sort of thing, you know, the next thing that needs to be done, that I'm not getting to it. So that's what I want to do, because every time I turn around something's hitting the floor. So I want like a desk that's kind of up against the wall, so that kind of helps me, and I don't have all these sides, you know. Okay, so now that I have that on the back, and that is needing to still dry, watch my flower on the other side. Now you can take this, and it's your Pitt big brush, and this is in black, and so then what I'm going to do is take the edge up against this card, and just try to put like a little black edge to it. So just be careful. It's really easy to slip, and then, you know, put some sort of ink smear on either the front or the back of your card. So just be really, really, really careful and try to keep it controlled. So you see that kind of gives that an outline there. And these are great, by the way. These are a lot of fun to have in your craft room. And so then what I did on the other one is I ended up putting some words back here just for fun. We could do that, tear some words on it, little paint there. I kind of like it, but it was actually an accident that I did it. I wasn't intending on doing it, and my brush slipped and put a black mark over here, so I put the words there, and then I just kind of put them, you know. So I could do the same on this one too, but I don't think I'll take the time in the video for that, but you know that you can do it. And the other thing you can do also, if you find the right Sharpie, you can actually, if you don't have a sewing machine, you can either buy stamps that have like a sewing look to it, or you can take your Sharpie like this and let's get it going again. There we go. And you can draw your own little stitch lines. So, you know, you could come in and do like little zigzags here. You can do your own if you don't have a sewing machine. So you see, you can come in and do that. I'll probably sew this one off camera, but you can certainly do that. You can come in and, you know, do things with your white jelly pen if you wanted to do something and brighten it up, kind of like I did these numbers. So there's different things you can do like that. And let's punch a hole. And you can do any kind of design you want to on it. I got me some ivory seam binding, and then some of I have both of these cream, and they're in my shop. I have them in my shop, and this is some sparkly aqua blue eyelash trim. And so I just cut it a little bit longer and then just folded the ribbon in half and folded these, put these through together. And let's see. And then that there. And then get all four going through this. You might have to do each one separate. There's an end of that one and an end of that one, and then the two ribbons. Do my ribbons first. It's a little harder to do it with four of them, and I did it, you know how I always do. I do it the first time and it goes off like clockwork, and then the second time I do it, it doesn't work at all. I mean, we talked about that. That's how that goes for me. So of course, the first one I did, when you didn't get to see it, was work like magic, and then this one did not. So you could always come back in and do them separately too. It doesn't really matter. I was just trying to do them at the same time. Okay, so now I have my little ribbon and my eyelash trim, and there we are. Your little mixed media, breathe, inhale, exhale, and repeat mixed media tags. And I hope you enjoyed this, and I hope that it inspired you to get some paints out, get your stamps out, so you get your stencils out, and just start putting layers of color just by dabbing it with a makeup sponges, and you really can't mess it up, y'all. You just cannot mess it up. So I hope you enjoyed this, and I hope everyone's taking good care, and we'll be talking to you soon. Thanks for watching. Bye.